At 52, he made a choice that most people couldn't understand. After his divorce, after the kids moved out, after 30 years of building a life around other people's needs, he chose something radical, permanent solitude, not as a punishment, not as a failure, as a conscious, deliberate choice. And 3 years later, at 55, his life looks nothing like what people predicted. No loneliness, no desperation, no sad single man drinking alone wondering where it all went wrong. Instead, something completely different. A life so peaceful, so self-directed, so genuinely satisfying that he wouldn't trade it for anything. Today, I am going to show you exactly what that life looks like. Not the fantasy version, not the nightmare people warned him about, the real, daily truth of what happens when a man over 50 chooses solitude and builds his entire life around his own peace. This is Tom's story, and it might be the permission you need to consider a path you've been afraid to choose. Tom's day starts differently than it did during his marriage. He wakes up naturally, no alarm unless he has somewhere specific to be, which is maybe twice a week. His body decides when it is done sleeping. Some days that is 6 a.m., some days it is 8. It doesn't matter because nobody's schedule controls his anymore. He lies in bed for 10 minutes, not checking his phone, not rushing, just existing in the quiet. That quiet, he told me, is something he craved for 30 years and never had. In a marriage, in a family, there is always noise. Someone needing something, someone wanting to talk when you want silence, someone's mood affecting the entire house. Now silence, and he has learned that silence isn't empty, it is full of peace. He makes coffee exactly the way he likes it, not the way someone else prefers it, not compromising, because she doesn't like the smell of strong coffee, or he drinks it too fast or whatever. Small accommodation he made for decades, without even noticing his coffee, his kitchen, his morning. He sits on his back porch, which overlooks a small wooded area, and he drinks that coffee while watching birds, or reading, or just thinking. No conversation he is not in the mood for, no tension from the night before still hanging in the air, no performance of being awake and functional before he actually is. Just coffee and quiet, and the slow start to a day that is entirely his. His finances reflect a life that finally makes sense to him. During his marriage, money was always complicated. Joint accounts, discussions about every significant purchase, guilt about spending on himself, resentment when she spent freely but questioned his expenses. The constant negotiation of who deserves what and whether they can afford this or should wait on that. Now, simplicity, he lives on about 40% of what they spent as a couple. Not because he is depriving himself, because he is not funding someone else's lifestyle. He is not paying for things he doesn't value to keep someone else happy. He is not maintaining a house that was too big, too expensive, too much to manage. He downsized to a small house he bought outright. No mortgage, no debt. His expenses are minimal because his life is minimal. And minimal, he discovered, isn't deprivation. It is freedom. He spends money on exactly 3 things and feels zero guilt about any of them. First, his hobbies. He got back into woodworking, something he loved in his 20s, and gave up when life got busy. He invested in quality tools, a small workshop set up in his garage, materials for projects. He makes furniture, not to sell, not to prove anything, just because he enjoys the process. The focus, the craftsmanship, the satisfaction of building something with his hands. Second, travel, not expensive resort vacations, solo trips to places he has always wanted to see. He spent a month hiking through Colorado, 2 weeks in a cabin in Montana, a cross-country road trip with no itinerary. He goes where he wants, stays as long as he wants, changes plans if he feels like it. No negotiation, no compromise, no one complaining they're bored or want to do something else. And third, his health. Good food. A gym membership he actually uses, vitamins, regular checkups, physical therapy for an old shoulder injury he ignored for years. He invests in feeling good because he finally understands that nobody else is responsible for his well-being, that is on him, and he takes it seriously. But here is what people don't understand about his solitude. He is not isolated. He is selective. He has friends, real friends, not couple friends who were really her friends and tolerated him, not obligation friendships maintained for social appearances. Actual men he genuinely enjoys spending time with. They meet for coffee once a week. They hike together. They work on projects in each other's workshops. These friendships are simple, no drama, no emotional management, no complex dynamics. Just men who share interests and respect each other's time and space. He sees them when he wants to. He declines invitations when he doesn't. And nobody takes it personally because these are adult friendships built on mutual choice, not social obligation. His evenings are his own. Sometimes he reads for 3 hours straight. Something he could never do during the marriage because she'd get upset that he was ignoring her or not being present. Now he can disappear into a book, and nobody's feelings are hurt. Sometimes he works in his shop until midnight because he is in the flow of a project and doesn't want to stop. Sometimes he watches movies she would have hated. Sometimes he sits in complete silence, doing absolutely nothing, and it is not weird or uncomfortable or something someone questions. His evenings answer to nobody but him. People ask him about dating, about loneliness, about whether he wants a relationship, and his answer surprises them. He is not against relationships. He is not bitter or damaged or sworn off women forever. He is just not looking, because here is what he learned. For the first time in his adult life, he is complete by himself. He doesn't need someone to validate him, to make his life meaningful, to fill some void. There is no void. His life is full, and adding another person would mean compromise, negotiation, adjustment. Someone else's needs becoming his responsibility, someone else's moods affecting his peace. And when he honestly evaluates that trade, he doesn't want it. Not because partnership is bad, but because what he has now is better. For him, at this stage, in this season, his relationship with his adult kids improved after choosing solitude, not in spite of it. Because of it, during the marriage, every interaction with his kids was filtered through family dynamics. Mom's mood, tension between parents, performance of family unity. Now his relationship with each child is direct, individual, real. They call him because they want to talk to him, not out of obligation or to check in on the family situation. They visit because they enjoy his company. They see him happy, at peace, living authentically, and that gives them permission to prioritize their own peace too. He is not modeling sacrifice and endurance anymore. He is modeling choice and self-respect, and they respect him more for it. The mental shift was the hardest part. He spent 30 years believing that being alone meant being lonely, that solitude was something to avoid, that a meaningful life required partnership. Undoing that programming took time. The first few months after choosing permanent solitude, he'd catch himself feeling guilty, like he should be trying to meet someone, like there was something wrong with him for preferring his own company. But slowly that shifted. He realized the guilt was just internalized social expectations, the belief that his life only counts if it includes romantic partnership. Once he rejected that belief, everything opened up. He wasn't lonely. He was alone, and alone was exactly what he needed. Now let me tell you what he doesn't miss. He doesn't miss compromise. Every decision being a negotiation, having to consider someone else's preferences about where to eat, what to watch, how to spend the weekend, where to live, how to decorate, when to have people over, whether to take a trip. He doesn't miss emotional management, walking on eggshells around someone's bad mood, taking responsibility for someone else's happiness, processing someone else's anxiety or insecurity or resentment. He doesn't miss performing interest in things he doesn't care about, performing affection when he is touched out, performing enthusiasm when he is tired, performing presence when he wants solitude. He doesn't miss the financial complexity, joint decisions about money, justifying purchases, feeling guilty about spending on himself, funding lifestyle inflation that benefited her more than him, and he doesn't miss the loss of self that happens slowly in long-term partnership. The way you become we, and we becomes her, and you disappear somewhere in the middle. His life isn't perfect. He is not pretending solitude is paradise every single day. Sometimes he is bored. Sometimes he wishes he had someone to share an experience with. Sometimes he sees a couple who seem genuinely happy, and feels a small twinge of something, not quite regret, but awareness of what he has chosen not to have. But those moments are rare, and even in those moments, he doesn't want back what he left. He wants the fantasy version that doesn't exist, the partnership without compromise, the companionship without obligation, the connection without cost. And since that doesn't exist, he chooses what does: peace, freedom, solitude. A life that is entirely his. At 55, Tom's life looks like this. A small house he owns, a workshop full of projects, savings growing instead of depleting, health improving instead of declining days, structured by his preferences, evenings filled with what he actually enjoys, friendships that add value without extracting it, relationships with his kids that are genuine instead of performative, and most importantly, peace, deep, consistent, unshakable peace. Not the temporary absence of conflict, not the negotiated truce of a decent day in a struggling marriage, but genuine baseline peace that he wakes up with and goes to bed with and carries through his days. That peace, he told me, is worth more than anything partnership ever gave him. And he is grateful every single day that he had the courage to choose it. Now, here is what I need you to understand. Tom's story isn't everyone's story. Some men need partnership. Some men thrive in relationships. Some men find their peace with someone else instead of alone. And that is fine. But here is what society doesn't tell you. Solitude is a valid choice. It is not failure. It is not giving up. It is not settling. It is choosing a different path. And for some men, especially men over 50 who've spent decades building lives around other people, that path leads to more peace, more freedom, and more authentic living than partnership ever did. Tom's not lonely. He is liberated, and his life isn't empty, it is full. Just full of different things than what society told him it should contain. If you are watching this and thinking, maybe solitude is what you need, I want you to know something. You are not broken. You are not damaged. You are not incapable of relationship. You might just be someone who is finally ready to admit that you want something different, that your peace matters more than other people's expectations, that being alone isn't the same as being lonely, and that a life built around your own needs, your own preferences, your own peace might be exactly what you need at this stage. Subscribe to this channel right now, because every week I am telling stories like Tom's, real men over 50 making unconventional choices and living with the outcomes: solitude, divorce, rebuilding, choosing peace over partnership. The paths nobody validates, but some men desperately need. If you are considering solitude or already living it and wondering if you are doing it wrong, you need this community. Subscribe now. Hit that like button. That like tells YouTube that unconventional paths deserve visibility, that men choosing solitude aren't failures to be pitied, but people making valid choices, that content validating alternative lifestyles matters. Your like reaches another man who is considering this path and needs to know it is okay. Comment below honestly. Are you living in solitude by choice? Are you considering it? What is holding you back? Or if you are in partnership and genuinely happy, what makes it work? Your honest experience helps other men make informed choices. This isn't about convincing anyone to choose solitude. It is about showing that it is a valid option if that is what your peace requires. Share this with someone who needs it. The divorced man trying to figure out his next chapter. The married man wondering if there is another way. The friend who chose solitude and gets judged for it. Send them Tom's story. Show them that peaceful, solitary life isn't myth. It is real, and it is available. Tom's life isn't lonely. It is not empty. It is not a consolation prize for someone who couldn't make relationships work. It is a deliberate, conscious choice that led to more peace than he'd known in decades. His days are his money is his space is his energy is his peace is his. And after 30 years of sharing all of that, and slowly losing himself in the process, having it back feels like coming home to himself. That is not loneliness, that is freedom. And some men over 50, maybe you, need to hear that it is okay to want that. It is okay to choose that. It is okay to build a life that looks nothing like what society expects and everything like what your soul needs. Tom did, and 3 years later, he has never been happier. Subscribe. Like, comment, share. And if solitude is calling you, maybe it is time to stop running from it and start building it. Deliberately, consciously, peacefully, on your own terms.